wanted to ask you what your impressions on Cade Cunningham are this season. Now, obviously, we know missed all last season, had surgery, but what have your impressions been, positive and negatively?
Negatively, obviously, the turnovers have just been disgusting. The numbers have been bad. A lot of seemingly lazy turnovers. But again, like we talked about, they're doing him no favors with the lineups around him for the most part. It's tricky. I think just like off the bat, like he's looked really good pretty consistently. More times than not, he's looked really good. There's been a couple stretches in games where he sort of becomes invisible. A couple stretches in games where he's forcing too much, bad shots, turnovers, etc. But I think more times than those are the negatives. But I think more times than not, he's looked really good.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. I think a lot of fans, when they saw the USA stuff, saw Rico Hines, they saw the Remy runs down in Florida.
Yeah,
I think they missed him on the basketball court, and that's to be expected because I mean some of the lineups they were throwing out last year, like as a fan, no fan should have to go through that. I'm sorry, they really shouldn't.
I know.
I'm not going to name any names, but I know some people want me to. Anytime you're calling up guys from the Motor City Cruise in your starting lineup, that's just not a good sign.
Yeah. Also, Cade's shot, sorry to add on real quick to the positives, his shots look great, especially off the catch and shoot. Which I think is big when he's theoretically down the line playing with Ivy, Monte Morris, Boyan, all that. When there's attention on other guys and he just gets to spot up for a possession. I mean, he's shooting 36% from three right now, which is a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I mean I think that was a big knock on him too. Like a lot of people didn't think that he was going to be a good 3-point shooter because I think he shot like sub 30% his rookie year.
Yeah,
and last year he struggled a little bit, but I think him off ball, he's proved that he can knock down those 3-point shots.
Right.
I think negatively, I think we're both on the same wavelength. Turnovers, they got to go down. They really do. Yeah. There were a couple tonight where I'm just like, he threw the ball at Isaiah Stewart, and like there are like maybe 4 or 5 Phoenix Suns defenders. He tried to throw it over the defenders. It was a turnover. Threw the ball at Duren's feet. It's just like I think he's just kind of getting overwhelmed a little bit, trying to have the ball in his hands like 90% of the time, and it's just sloppy turnovers. Because the turnovers that he has so far this year, they're fixable. He's just got to watch more film and kind of break down the game and let the game come to him. I feel like he's just trying to rush things and kind of force things right now, and they're fixable. Like some of the passes, I don't think he's going to be making. I don't know in February. I think he can fix it. He's just got to get in game shape, like we talked about earlier.
Agreed.
In the podcast, I think honestly, I'm not really too worried about the turnovers, even though. It's like 6-7 a game, which I think he leads the league in turnovers. Yeah. He's like top 5 in points and top 5 in assists, which is wild to me. But
I mean, he's averaging over 7 assists a game, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, I had a really wild prediction. I said 11 because I thought he could get people just involved, especially because I thought like Boyan being in the lineup, you're having Sar, Duren. I thought that he would just be throwing it out there like Halliburton, but
I mean, I see that. We'll see. We'll see when everyone's healthy. But I do think, like, with the turnovers, like, he's never going to be a 1 to 2 turnover a game guy, I don't think. But, I mean, no player with his usage is. I think, cut it down to 2 to 3 turnovers a game. You live with that just based on the usage and, all that with the offensive possessions riding on him. But I think you just cut him in half. Go from 6 to 3, and we're in a totally different position.
Honestly, like I don't think he's a 7 turnover a game point
Definitely
guard.
not.
I really don't. Like I think when Boyan comes back, a good 10 to 12 possessions are going to Boyan.
Yeah,
and I think that's where the turnovers just automatically get lowered. And then when Monte Morris comes back, turnovers will probably get even lower then because he doesn't really turn the ball over a whole lot.
For sure.
So I know a lot of fans are just like really hyper focused on that, but you kind of have to look at what's around him. And when you look what's around him, they're like, who's he supposed to pass it to? Killian Hayes on the wing. He's supposed to pass it to Asar, even though he did knock down some 3-point shots tonight.
That was a good sign.
I can't remember if it might have been the Blazers game where he just shot like 6 straight pointers in the first 3 minutes, and it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I know the Pelicans game. He had like 5 air balls. I think it was that was a 5 games in 7 night situation where his legs were just gone. But it was nice to see him hit a couple tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just so impressed with him as a rookie. Like, definitely got the pick right. Like,
he's just such a game changer, man. Like, just beyond the number. I mean, but the numbers have been good too, especially steals and blocks and rebounds. But he's just a game changer.